Today, we're chatting with a designer,
Yes, sir.
Naveen, also known as
Sleepy.
Sleepy. Design clothes, design music. Do you design furniture?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Maybe one day, man. Maybe we'll redesign,
Hey.
little pod furniture. That'd be cool.
What does the word designer mean to you?
I think it can mean a lot of things because I used to hate the word designer because most of the time you would just hear graphic designer, right? And when I went to school for graphic design at Columbia, I hated using the word graphic designer so much because as soon as people heard that word, they would ask me to make their logos. And they would, you know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
Like there's just like a preconceived notion with graphic designers. So like I tried to stay away from that term. I'll literally use like cover artist or like, stuff like that, which is so whack. Like I don't, that's what a box to put yourself in, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I just like designer better because it could be so many different things, right? Like it's not just logos. Like I like designing. It's like the problem solving, right? Like so trying to figure out how a brand fits together, like we did with Make Me Laugh.
Yeah. Shout out Naveen.
Yeah,
Make Me Laugh brand. And you've done artwork for NBA Youngboy too, right?
Yeah.
How was that like? That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that was cool. So that was because there's a producer from Chicago named Polywrl. You've definitely heard songs that he produced if you don't know who he is. But he kind of, was like heavy on the plug wave, like SoundCloud beats and stuff from back then. But I got cool with him because I started doing artwork with him through Instagram. I just shot my shot through the DM, and after the first cover I did for him, he really liked my artwork and stuff like that. He followed me, and then he started like throwing me alley-oops with like different huge jobs. Like the first one I think was a Lil Yachty cover.
Okay.
And then we did a few covers for Famous Dex.
Oh wow.
And these are all songs that he produced. And then Youngboy I think was like the last one. But
okay, so you've done artwork for NBA Youngboy,
yes,
Famous Dex,
yes,
and
Lil Yachty. And they're all songs that are produced by Polywrl. But all of those three were through him.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah. So that was dope.
And then did you ever get reached out by those artists?
None of them. I think I did another cover for Famous Dex. Okay. It wasn't his personal song, but it was like a song that so that one was a little closer like to actually being through him, but I never talked to like Yachty or NBA Youngboy or anything. Actually, I don't even think the Youngboy song didn't even end up coming out because
really?
I think label issues.
Oh man,
it kind of sucks, but
yeah,
I still posted the covers.
Hey man, you were almost there, bro.
Yeah, you know what's funny about that cover though?
Yeah,
is so after I posted it, so I don't know if you're familiar with NBA Youngboy's like fan base.
Yeah,
it's like mostly yes, very cult, but like I think it's mostly like younger kids.
Yeah,
and they're like obviously like diehard fans, right?
Yeah.
So they're very in tune and like keeping up with like all the news that has to do with this guy. Like, oh, he was just at Walmart today, like that type of, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like when I posted the cover, I think there was a Instagram page called Cover Art Matters, and they used to, I believe they still do. They post like graphic designers for like like new covers and stuff like that, and I think they posted that one, or maybe they just posted something else that I did, and then whatever it is, a bunch of Youngboy fans found the cover that I posted. Yeah. And this is like not a song that was posted on any blogs or articles or anything by Youngboy. It was just the title, and they saw the cover on my page. So now I had a whole bunch of NBA Youngboy followers following me, right? And spamming my DMs asking, can you tell us about the album? Can you tell us about when the song's coming out? I'm like, bro, I don't know him. Like, it was funny though. It was like for a while, like a good chunk. Like I probably, how like on Instagram stats you could see like your shared followers with somebody. It was probably like all Youngboy fans following me for a little bit.
What have you designed? Let's see. I want to know everything you're designing niches. Like you have graphic designing for flyers. Graphic designing for cover art for music.
Mm-hmm. So I've done like
branding design too, right? Because you help me a lot with my brand image. Design is very correlated with branding.
Yes.
So
it can be, yeah.
Yeah. So when you design, are you heavily thinking about the brand?
Yes. I'd say like kind of subconsciously too.
Okay.
Because I think every brand kind of brings you a feeling, right?
Yeah.
So like there's a very different feeling that you have even aside from like Momo has a different brand than T5 does,
Yeah.
right? But it's still, you could still do both.
Yeah.
And I think like when I'm thinking in terms of the project, like I kind of just subconsciously I feel like I'm in that realm. Does that make sense? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm thinking in Momo's health massage or Muhammad's health massage versus Terminal 5 comedy, right? Like it's two different,
Two different,
it's two different
brands,
worlds.
yeah.
Yeah. And I feel like it doesn't take too much like active thinking about it to like how can we separate these things? It's just like what feels natural with it.
Okay. So graphic designing, would you say your first initial step to designing?
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Yeah.
I think that's fair.
And then you went to school, right?
I did, yeah.
You went to, where did you go to school?
Columbia College in Chicago.
Do you feel like you grew up as a designer through that school?
Yeah. I would say, yeah, I did. I'm not the biggest fan of the school. I wouldn't say like I learned physical like how to do what I do, if that makes sense. Like I didn't learn how to use Photoshop or Illustrator or anything like that from going to Columbia, but the environment that I was in at that school, I definitely learned how to think like a designer. Okay. And I think that's the biggest takeaway I took from it. Like that,
And if you give me like a sentence of how you could describe to the people, what does that entail? Like thinking like a designer.
Man, I think I took things too literal before.
Okay.
Where like I would be like, okay, brand identity, what is that? Like there's the logo and it has to be this and this and that, and then, these colors are supposed to whatever, right? Now I think it's more so like I think just getting a little bit more natural with it. Okay. When it comes to like, okay, what does this make me feel? Like if I'm making a flyer for this podcast and I get a certain kind of feeling from it, how can I make a logo that is just giving me the feeling? It's less literal, you know what I'm saying? Okay. Like I think it's more so about
it's more
like,
the vibe. So designing is the vibe.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like
so, and I feel like to be like a good designer, you just need taste. Mm-hmm. Can you buy taste? How does somebody get developed taste?
Man, I think it just comes over time. Cause I think about that a lot actually. Like sometimes I'm like, I just notice certain people who may not be designers or may not be whatever it is, but like you could just tell when somebody has good taste, right? Like even if it's like they just dress really cool, like you could tell they have good taste, right? And then sometimes that kind of translates well with other areas of design and stuff like that. So I think it's just like people's interests and stuff like slowly starts forming. I don't know.
Yeah, and that's interesting because, designing is, you need good taste, but also everybody's taste is different. Like your taste, I would say a lot of your style, just not by clothing, by the way you make your graphic designs, I would say very hip hop influenced.
Okay.
And I could kind of see that within your taste.
Yeah.
Would you agree with that?
Yeah.
And like, so if you see somebody as a designer who's like not in your, let's say, style of design,
right?
Are you able to like notice it and still respect it?
Of course, yeah.
So you could know good design is good design even if you don't like it.
Of course, because what I do a lot is, I don't know if you do this, but there's a lot of things that I see where I can be like, I absolutely love this.
Yeah.
I know it's not for me, but I love it. And I think I see that a lot with like clothes or shoes or something, right?
Yeah.
Where like I'll see the silhouette and the colors or whatever, and I'll be like, man, I love everything about this. I would never wear it personally, but it's sick, right?
Okay,
I don't know, like you remember the big red boots?
Yeah, that was a whole phase, right?
Yeah, like I think that's sick. I never wear it, but it's sick, right?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
it's just certain things like that. Like you could definitely appreciate design, but it's not really your, you know.
Is a design successful just because it has people liking it? What makes a design successful? Because I couldn't grab, let's say I have a design of, let's say it's an art piece that I have,
Okay.
but it's just a blank sheet with a black dot in the middle, right? And I could be like, yo, this is design.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah,
I could
yeah.
hype it up.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
How much of design is really the design and how much of it is the story behind it?
That's a good question, man. Because I think that plays a lot into it, right?
Yeah.
Is the story behind it. I took a class. Well, okay. First of all, just to answer the question, I think, of course, like it just depends on it's person to person, right? It's just your preference. If you think it's good design, it's good design. I'd say that's successful, right?
Yeah.
Because whatever. But I actually took a graphic design class before, and going back to what you said about how would I describe thinking like a designer, this is another thing. Is I remember we had a project and we were supposed to design like icons for a specific like public building, right? So everybody got to pick like a public building
Yeah.
that that they wanted to rebrand all the icons for. So I picked Stratford Square Mall. Back, I used to work there when I was in middle school,
Yeah.
and I didn't really think I didn't really know how to think like a designer back then, I guess. And I took it kind of literal. I was like, okay, I'm just remaking the icons, right? Like, okay, here's a bathroom icon, whatever. Here's this way to exit, whatever, that type of stuff, right? And I remember my teacher was telling me, okay, what story are you telling with this? I'm like, how the hell are you supposed to tell a story with bathroom icons? You know what I'm saying? Like, you know? But what she was saying was like, okay, I guess without saying it too literally to me, it was like the point she was trying to get across was like, okay, there's a story you can tell about Stratford. Like, what's something about that mall that makes it what it is? And I remember there was like a iconic fountain that was over there, and she was like, okay, how can you play that into, like maybe it's like the way the icons are flowy or like rounded because that's the feeling you get from it. Things like that. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like, so then I was like, okay, I guess I'd never really taken that kind of approach to design. Like even subtle things, as long as you're convincing yourself that this is the story behind why I got this, like the thought process behind it. I feel like that's what it kind of helps me with design, and I think it's what makes good design sometimes.
So would you say designing is a little bit of like storytelling?
Yeah, for sure.
Interesting.
For sure. And I think another example of that is when we did the Make Me Laugh, right?
Yeah.
You remember the initial flyer?
The initial flyer?
So like with
The
with the graphic, the drawing of the people laughing and stuff.
Oh yeah, the flyer. Okay.
Yeah, the flyer.
Yeah.
So when I sent that to you, originally we were like kind of working back and forth on it, whatever, right?
Yeah.
And then when we just had I think we were originally gonna rework a lot of it.
Yeah.
And then when we talked about it for a little while, at a point you were like, never mind, I love this. Like after you started talking about it, right?
Yeah.
I feel like don't you think
that's
part of
true.
the storytelling behind it kind of made
me like it.
Yeah, right? And I feel like that's why storytelling is like, it plays hand in hand with design. Like, because after the phone call, I was like, thank God I don't got to redo the whole flyer. I just lied and made up a little story there.
Finesse.
Finesse.
Imagine.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
You gotta do that with clients. You're like, oh, I gotta tell him a story so he likes it.
I remember when I was a kid, man. I was at Stratford.
Oh man. So design clothes too.
I do. I've been doing a lot of that lately.
What shirt you got on right now? Is that
I mean Studios. This is actually my LLC.
Oh no way.
Studios, but it's not a clothing brand. It's just more like all of the projects that I'm working on that for legal reasons are under, this is kind of like my parent brand. I just like,
And I think you're about to drop some merchandise soon.
Yes, I am.
What's the story behind it?
Okay. So I'm working on a clothing line called Polywrl.
Okay.
So I think you knew about this, but I did a little collection at Combo Breaker, which was that like video game kind of convention thing. So I had a booth over there, and we did some merch. It was me, my brother, and one of my friends, and um, yeah. So it went really well. Like it was kind of just something we wanted to test out, just from being there and seeing other booths and stuff. I was always like, I've had experience designing little clothes here and there for like, I've done like some of the Terminal 5 stuff and then
Yeah.
some other like artist merch and stuff like that. So I was like, okay, let's do like, some video game designs or something like that. And it went really well. And it was always something I wanted to do on my own time too, like designing a brand for myself.
Yeah.
But never really got around to until that happened. So after that, I was like, okay, let's keep it going. Let's turn it into a brand. Let's keep the ball rolling on that one. But I think it's gonna be less of just that initial idea of it being, like video game merch, and kind of more like just things that I think is cool, like my interest that.
What do you
other
think is
people,
cool, Naveen?
Man, I think a lot of things is cool,
Yeah.
but I'd say this is kind of more inspired by, it could be video games, it could be anime, it could be, music, hip hop, like you said. It could be um, just aesthetically things that I think are cool into a clothing brand. It's stuff that I've always wanted to wear that I can't find at another brand, right?
Mm.
So I'm like, let me just make it myself, right?
And when's your first drop?
So my first drop,
Is it a T-shirt? Your first drop?
it's a t-shirt. It's a t-shirt. So it's a running dog inspired by
I'll put it up here.
inspired. I don't know if I could say this. Inspired by Pokemon.
Like-
Inspired by Nintendo. Don't sue me. But inspired by Pokemon. There's like the 3 legendary dogs.
Okay.
So this is the first of the legendary dogs, and so it's inspired by that and Pharrell's brand ice cream.
Okay.
Yeah. So you'll see. I think by the time this podcast comes out, it might have already dropped.
Okay. You don't know that.
Yeah, we don't know that, but check out Polywrl and get you one.
So you dropping a what's the name of the shirt?
The name of the shirt or the name of the brand?
Polywrl is the name of the brand.
Polywrl, yeah.
And so
It's like they're calling it the legendary dog tee.
the legendary dog tee. Yeah. And Polywrl. What does this brand mean? Polywrl.
Polywrl. So
Sounds like
in a literal sense, it's the prefix poly, meaning multiple world, like multiple worlds kind of blending together. So it's literally like I said, it's just like things that I find cool.
From
It's
different,
like
even if they're from different worlds.
Yeah, it doesn't matter what it is. You get inspiration from anywhere. Like, the other day, dude, like I walked past Starbucks and I saw like the flyer outside.
Yeah.
And just the way they designed it, I was like, oh, that looks cool. And I flipped it into like a rap song cover. And I was just like, that's what I'm saying. Like, inspiration comes from anywhere. It's just literally the typography and then like some of the little graphics they used. I was like,
and you made that
to hard. Yeah.
And you made that to a
I just subbed out the coffee for like like a drill rapper, dude. Also, Polywrl is the name of a Pokemon.
Oh.
It's spelled differently though. So Nintendo can't sue me, but it's spelled differently. I won't get into that for my lawyer advises me not to. So
you have a lawyer?
I don't.
You got to make a scene, like you have a lawyer.
Oh,
I like your jeans, man.
Thank you, man.
Are those Polywrl jeans?
These are not Polywrl jeans. These are Bait and Astro Boy collab pants that I bought.
Are you ever gonna make jeans, or are you just gonna make shirts?
I would love to. I've done it before.
Really? Because if you bought jeans, I would definitely cop them.
Yeah.
But your shirts, I don't know. Let's play
that. What kind of jeans do you like?
I'm not. I like your jeans you have right now. I would buy those, honestly.
For real?
Yeah.
Thank you, man.
But
what if I put you on the jeans? Like, that poster, right? When you walk in, it's you massaging. Yeah, like
it's just me.
Yeah.
On your knees.
That'd be fire. No, I made pants before, like, But I would just have to find like a good way to like mass produce. You know what I mean?
Do you think Steve Jobs was a good designer?
Damn. Yeah. I don't know too much about like
Are you inspired by him?
man. Not really, man.
No?
Not gonna lie.
So
I mean, I'm sure he's a very inspirational guy. I just don't know too much about it.
So is there a designer you're very inspired by?
Oh, plenty of designers.
Who's
I'm
like
inspired by.
who kind of opened that door for you to really get into designing? Who's your first inspiration
Man, the
to
first
design?
I don't know about the first, but a very prominent one I would say is Pharrell
Okay.
Williams, because he like
So he-
like I said,
okay.
it's not like it's designed in so many different realms, right?
Yeah.
Like him being
Yeah,
right
he-
now, he's doing Louis Vuitton, you know,
Yeah, and he designs music.
designs music, amazing.
Yeah.
Like, cause and it's not just
And you also design music.
I do,
And do you call yourself a producer?
I would say so, yeah.
So audio designer or producer? What do you prefer? What's the terminology?
I'd say producer. 'Cause,
Producer?
there are a lot of little categories within production as well. Like you have like audio engineers and stuff like that, which I'm honestly not the greatest at. So
Yeah.
I'm not gonna sit here and act like I'm I do everything. Check it out,
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd say producer. Yeah.
And how long you been producing music?
Maybe like 7 years,
7 years.
8 years.
What made you get into producing?
Okay, so actually producing was the first thing I wanted to do before graphic design.
Okay.
I didn't start, but I wanted to. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Like that was always like my dream job growing up.
Yeah.
Like you remember when we were kids
Yeah.
and people would ask you, yeah, what's your dream job? It was always producer.
Really?
Always, yeah.
Not a rapper. You want to be a producer?
Yeah, I want to be a producer. I always wanted to be the behind the scenes guy. You know what I mean?
Why?
Because you get the same bag, but you don't got to put your face in front of. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Oh, so you don't like being in front of the camera?
That's
Well,
why I
guess
don't want to
what?
be on Oprah, man.
You're on camera right now. So you've been producing for 7 years. Did you start producing FL Studios? What was the?
Yeah.
FL
Are you
Studios?
familiar with FL?
I mean, I know about it.
Okay.
I haven't used it. I tried to use Logic once. Logic
Oh
Pro.
yeah. Okay. That's what I use now.
I tried making beats before.
Yeah.
It sucked.
Yeah. I mean,
Like really bad.
everybody's first.
No,
beats,
like it was like really bad.
my first beat was garbage, bro.
I'm pretty sure I could out trash you.
You think so?
Yeah.
We'll compare first
Okay.
beats. You still got yours?
I gotta look for it.
Okay. Yeah, we
It's
could
not
compare.
even beats. It just sounds. It just sounds. It's random sounds in the file. Dude.
Just like pen tapping and stuff. Dude. No, but yeah. So FL Studio, that's where I started. I actually, you know what? No. Let's take it back. Even before FL Studio, there was a program on. So I take this back. If we even count this, which I don't know if we should, but senior year of high school, so I was probably like 17 or something. Me and a couple of my friends, one of them who is an amazing producer now, who goes by Danny FTW. So me and him were in this class, and it was like a gaming coding class, right? But we found this website where I forget what it's called. I think it was called Audio Tool or something like that.
Okay.
But you could just make beats on the website. Like they had little loops and stuff,
Okay.
and you could kind of like put it together and make little beats, right? So all day we were just making beats on there, right? But it was like, I don't even know if it counts because they were all loops already, right?
Yeah.
Like we just kind of stacked them and layered them and like arranged it or whatever. But so we would make like fake mixtapes.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so we would make fake mixtapes,
So
and it
you
would
produce
just
the
be
music and he would rap on it?
no. We were both making beats, and
Okay,
then
yeah.
we never rapped on it.
Yeah.
We just made imaginary songs where we're like, this is the beat, and we're dissing the teacher to this beat. Like literally, we'd be like, oh, this is the beat for our teacher's bald. They're like, you know what I'm saying? Like it was stuff
funny.
like that. It was so dumb, but it was fun, man. And then that turned into both of us like really actually getting into production, And he's a dog now, man. He's really good.
What's his name?
Danny FTW.
Hey, shout out Danny.
Got a mixtape out right now, man.
Did you produce
amazing.
any of his songs?
I didn't because he could do that himself. Man. You know what I mean?
Do you have a dream collab where you could like produce? How would you describe your producing, music producing style, like your sound? How would you describe your sound design?
I would say very spacey. A lot of like jazz influence too.
I love jazz.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What do you like about jazz?
I like.
What you know about jazz?
What you know about soul music? No, I like the drums.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
I like the instruments. I like the.
I'll say that's a big part of the influence I get from jazz.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean jazz. I mean you're like hip hop, right?
Mhm.
And you know a lot of hip hop derives from
Like jazz samples.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. I used to play the drums when I was younger.
Yeah.
I had a drum set and all that stuff. And I remember like back then when I used to play the drums, I didn't really think too much about it. Like I didn't know what genres I was playing to or, you know, stuff like that, or like, oh, this is a whatever type of thing. But I do remember playing the drums for like, I went to classes for like 4 or 5 years or something like that. But there was a point where for a few years we were kind of just doing like the regular hit the hi-hat, hit the snare, whatever. I didn't, and at the time I had no idea what to call anything. I was just playing the way they taught me. And then it was one day we had a lesson where he was teaching us how to do like jazz type of like a jazz type of drum, you know, style. And I remember that day like so well because that one day we did it, like I just felt it, you know what I'm saying? Like I felt it inside, and I was like, damn, like, you know, jazz drums, like it does something for me, you know.
Have you released any of the music you produced?
Yeah, I have a few songs out.
I don't think you're too public with your producing.
Yeah.
Is there a reason for that?
I'm just like too much of a.
Are you trying to keep up with your brand identity?
I am.
Design?
I am.
Is that
in
why?
a sense, there are certain times where I've produced songs that I'm like, I'm not really gonna push this too heavy because it's maybe not exactly what I'm trying to, the skill set I'm trying to show off right now, or I'm just overthinking like everybody does, you know, which, you know, it happens, but it's also because there's like certain projects I'm working on right now. Like I have a project with Psy coming out pretty soon, hopefully, called Sleepwalking.
Sleepwalking.
Yeah, Sleepwalking.
It's a whole mixtape, or it's a
yeah. I'd say it's like a EP short album type of vibe.
Okay.
Yeah. So
and you produced the whole thing?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, fully produced. I have one song with co-production from 16th.
Hey.
Yeah, but other than that, fully produced by me. And yeah, so like when I have projects like that, because I also have something in the works with Eddie Yuma as well. But whenever I'm kind of locked in that mindset, other songs that I've produced from, you know, whatever, like I'm just like, sometimes I just don't get stuck in the mindset of like, oh, I wasn't even thinking about that song, but they put it out. So I kind of put it on my story or whatever. But, you know, I'd love to have the full rollout planned, you know, because I think with Sleepwalking, what I want to do is commercials and flyers and, you know, kind of like build a brand like what we did with, you know, Make Me Laugh, like, and just have everything match. So like anytime you see something, it's like, okay, that's from the Sleepwalking era, right? Like, you know, like you think of Kanye, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if you've ever seen, we could probably put it up here somewhere, but there's like, I've seen posters or little graphics of like, okay, Kanye when he made this album, and it shows him with like the Margiela mask that he used to wear all the time during, I think, Yeezus, or like, you know, like just certain fits. You see him wear a fit, and you know what time period that's from. You know what I'm saying? Like it's part of branding, right?
Yeah.
Like, and I think branding around an album is like part of the experience, right? Like what did he look like when he made that? You know, like what was he doing?
What was in style for him?
Yeah, exactly. So I'm trying to make sure we build that world for Sleepwalking. You know?
Oh wow, that's cool.
Yeah.
Would you ever rap?
Nah.
Would you ever sing?
You know, for the first time, I actually put like background vocals on a beat that I did.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I made a beat, and then I just had an idea for like a melody that I wasn't sure how to get the instrument for.
Mm-hmm.
So I just kind of hummed it into my phone, and then I like airdropped it to my computer and just put a bunch of like effects on it.
Yeah.
And then I ended up keeping it in the actual beat because I was like, oh, this sounds really
wow.
cool, right? So I think that kind of sparked something in me.
Oh.
Where I'm like, okay, you know,
You might get
but
some.
I don't think I would ever full on like sing a song or you know what I'm saying.
You never know, man.
You never know.
You just talk about not putting yourself in a box. You just put yourself in a box.
That's true. That's true. That's a fair point.
So, designing music,
Mm-hmm.
designing clothes, designing flyers.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything else you want to design?
I've been getting into video a lot lately.
Video designing.
Yeah, like video editing and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Are
you gonna design this?
Yeah. Yeah.
Hey.
So if you're watching this video, that intro that you saw, I probably designed it if I made the deadline for it. But maybe the little transitions in between, you know, maybe. I mean, I've been. That's like I would say that's like the latest thing I've been doing a lot of.
Okay.
Is aside from clothing design, I would say it's like video design. So we're throwing this word design a lot now, but
so
video editing.
So,
right?
Yeah. Video editing. Okay.
Yeah, and I just did I actually did this little edit for you know who Joey Perp is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just did a little edit thing for Joey Perp.
Okay.
Yeah, and that was a lot of fun.
Is there a specific category or subcategory within design you feel like you resonate with the most?
Nah.
No?
I don't like thinking too much about it, you know?
Yeah.
I think design is just a good...
You're not you don't...
Yeah. I feel like I'm just... First of all, I just feel like I'm a person, and I'm a person who likes designing things, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like no matter what it is, like things around me. Like if I'm wearing clothes, I want to be the one who made it, right?
Yeah.
If I have I don't know, like my phone case, I want to design it. I want to, you know, like just certain things I see and I'm like, I could do that, you know?
Yeah.
And it's not. I feel like it's not. It doesn't have to be that deep. Like and throwing a little label on everything kind of feels a little like. I don't know if narcissistic's the word, but like, you know, you see people, I see a lot of people that are like, oh yeah, I'm a rapper, producer, and I engineer my song, and I made the cover, but it all sucks, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, I can tell, but I feel like putting that label on everything, just, you know, like designer is just like, that's cool. I'm cool with that.
So it's a very broad term that you identify with because you don't feel like you're put in a box or you're not perceived to be in a box. It's very broad. Exactly. And you like it that way.
I like that. I love it that way, yeah.
Okay. Anything else you're going to design?
Anything else I'm going to design? You know what's funny? I just caught myself this morning doing this. I was designing, like, I feel like generally I've always been a cover art guy. Like, on the daily, I'll be doing cover art designs. That's like the biggest thing I'll be working on. But today, I was just doing my normal, you know, commission design work, and I realized I was working on 5 different clothing brands in one day. Wow. I did 5 different like t-shirt designs for different brands, and I was like, man, people have been hitting me up a lot for clothes lately, more than, you know, more than.
And once you have this Polywrl out, it's going to be a lot more.
Probably.
How much are you selling your shirts for?
It's TBD. I don't know yet.
So since designing is the vibe, what's the vibe you try to give out with your style, your design? Do you have for all your mediums in design? Is there a general feel you want to give to the people?
There's not a general feel that like I want to give. Yeah. I feel like everything that I've put out that's, I guess you would categorize as like my own brand, is just things that just come natural from me. And I think those things link together because there's like a certain vibe that I might give off with my music or my, you know, my art style or whatever it is. But there's not like a certain goal I have of a feeling that I'm trying to give off. It's just, you know, I like to leave that part open-ended.
Okay.
I don't have like a feeling that I think that I would like someone to feel. But what I can say of what it is for me is like mostly just nostalgic things, right? Okay. Like things from my childhood. Like I want to say like a lot of the music that I make kind of sounds like, you know, it might sound like a soundtrack from a Nintendo 64 game that, you know, just a certain sound resonated with me when I was younger, and like just certain sounds just kind of it just makes more sense for me, you know.
Yeah.
And I think it just kind of goes hand in hand with like the way my designs look and everything. I feel like, or at least I've been told, I feel like you know, those things kind of tie together.
Polywrl.
Mm.
Right now, you have a t-shirt dropping.
Mm-hmm.
What's the other drops expected from Polywrl?
It's definitely more of a streetwear kind of feel.
Okay.
So you can expect that. Definitely a streetwear type of feel. And man, I think it just looks like things that I've designed in wearable form. Does that make sense? Does that sound weird? You get what I'm saying, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That's really all I gotta say about that.
You've been to India.
I have a few times.
How's designing in India?
Man, yeah. I was working this last trip that I went.
Do you look at your taste differently in design when you went there? Because the whole culture, the whole world, the whole people, which I'm pretty sure inspires your creation when you create designs.
100%.
Has it influenced or changed the way you look at design since you've been to India?
Yeah. I think it changes, like, I mean, I think going anywhere out of the country kind of even out of state, just traveling, you know, it always changes your perspective of how you look at life, right?
Yeah.
And especially when you go overseas, it's like, you know, you don't have the same kind of social norms. You don't have the same kind of, you know, societal standards and things like that. But I think maybe subconsciously, like the way I was designing was a little bit different because the way I was living was different, right? And the way of living was different when I was over there. And I was there for 2 months, so I was there for a minute.
So how was your way of living that was so different from living in America?
Man, like no toilet paper, bro.
God damn, how was you cleaning yourself?
I'm just playing. I had toilet paper, but nobody else did.
You hogging all of it?
Huh?
You hogging all of it?
I brought it for myself. I didn't bring it to share, man. They good over there. They got buckets and whatever. Okay. But anyway.
They got buckets? Do you know a lot of Indian designers? Personally?
I know a few. I don't know. I wouldn't say I know a lot.
Is there a taste in India for design that's different than American taste in design?
Yeah, for sure. I don't know if there's like a specific style that I can pinpoint.
Okay.
But I can say that when I was out there, just the way things were looking in general was a lot different. Like, when I say that, I mean like, if I'm just in the car, you know, getting to whatever destination, looking out at like storefronts, looking at newspapers, things like that, it is cohesive in its own way, and it's a different kind of. I think there's like different styles that are maybe more intriguing to, you know, the Indian people's eye. That is different.
The Indian people's eye.
Yeah. The Indian people in India living in those areas, right?
Okay.
I think there's just certain things like colors, right?
Yeah.
There's colors they use that you don't really see as often here. Right now, we're really heavy on earth tones and minimalism and things like that. Whereas over there, you get the popping pinks and oranges and teals. You know what I mean?
Okay. So a lot of design is like cultural background influenced?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
A lot of design in general, or are you asking about my design?
And design in general. Are you creating culture by design, or is a culture created by design?
I think it's both.
Yeah.
I definitely think it's both. Because, design definitely pushes culture forward, right? You see things happen in, you know, in little eras, right? And like I said, right now, like minimalism is really heavy, and I feel like we're starting to maybe push forward past that. But I think it goes both ways, you know? Because design, we push it forward, but at the same time, a lot of design that's happening right now is because of the culture. So,
Yeah.
you know, like you have like, okay, Kanye will come out with Yeezy, right?
Yeah.
Now you walk into Forever 21, there's 50,000 pairs of fake Yeezys and, you
Yeah.
know, like jogger pants that are like cream. You know what I'm talking about, right? Like,
Yeah.
So I'd say it goes both ways.
How would you know if you're destined to be a designer?
Damn. I don't know if it's that deep, man. I mean, I never felt like I was destined to be a designer, I guess. Um, I think you know when something is for you when it's just all you think about. When it's just that's just what makes you you, right?
Yeah.
And if that speaks to you more than, you know, other things do, then I think that's enough to say that, you know, you were destined for something.
Do you feel like it's a stressful job?
Yes.
Yeah.
It can be. It doesn't have to be.
Hmm.
It is for me sometimes because of the way I went about it. I guess. I mean, just when I design, I kind of branded myself in a way where I was like, oh yeah, I'll do your cover, I'll do your flyer, I'll do, you know what I'm saying? So thankfully it went very well in the sense that a lot of people trust me with their designs and stuff like that. But I have a lot of people that only trust me with their stuff. So,
Yeah.
you know, I end up, you know, having to be in charge of a lot of projects, which can get stressful. But
Is there a certain character traits in a person that make them a bad designer?
I don't think there's anything I can pinpoint that I would say, hey, you do this, that makes you a bad designer.
Yeah.
And what really even is bad design, right? Why are you laughing at me, boy? Okay.
I feel like you're about to say something so cliche, so I was like, okay.
That was kind of what really is bad design.
What is bad design? Okay, no, but what is bad design?
I can't pinpoint it though, right? Like,
Okay.
how do you, you know, like,
Okay.
you use burgundy? That's ass. Like, I don't know.
Are you critical about other people's design?
Nah, I would. I answered that so strong. Nah, nah, I'm not. I'm not critical on people's designs, man. I think the big part of it is like, I know that this sounds cliche, but if it makes sense to you when you're making it, come on, man. If it makes sense to you when you're making it,
Yeah.
and you feel good about something, I feel like that's good design, man. Like, it's successful in your eyes, and it's successful, bro. Like, it's design is like, you know, it's like art. It's like
Subjective.
it's subjective, exactly. Subjective. So like, I've had designs that I thought was like, I'm stubborn on it because I'm like, this is amazing. I love this. I nailed every feeling I wanted to get out of this, but other people don't like it or the client doesn't like it. And I wouldn't say that it was unsuccessful because the client didn't like it or whatever, or like certain people don't like it. Cause I still view that as like, I'm proud that I made that. Right. And, you know, it's subjective.
So if somebody wants to be a designer, are they just wanting to create stuff, wanting to design stuff?
Yeah.
That's okay.
Yeah. I would say like to be a designer is more than just graphic design, and it's more than just, you know, interior design or whatever kind of design it is. It's just, you know, it's just designing the world around you and designing, you know, like problem solving, like I said, and, you know, just personalizing your own world.
Tell the people what you got dropping.
So we got the t-shirts coming out very soon. Check out Polywrl because I'm trying to get real consistent with it. We're gonna keep the ball rolling. I'm gonna do drop after drop if, you know, demand goes well. Sleepwalking is on the way. That's coming real soon, actually. The project is in its mixing stages now, so there's gonna be a lot of music coming out. Yeah, man, that's really all I got to plug right now.
Hey, thanks for coming, man.
Yeah, man, thank you for having me.
Chatting with the designer.
Yes, sir.